Hello, everybody. So we will say live this time again from Kyiv, and I want to welcome all our viewers. I will not even continue. I lost track about what edition is today about the live from Ukraine with Viktor. I think it's 3 or 4. But for the people who start today, we have regularly one meeting every 2 weeks, sometimes more. So I have with me Dr. Robert Lebovits, who is a co-founder of the Mental Wellness Society. He is a very well-known psychologist from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. He is a cognitive psychologist. And we have with us also Viktor Vos, who is a psychologist, who is involved in publishing different activities, scientific publication, organizing different conference, international conference. But he happened to be one of the members, I would say even the only member in Ukraine for the Mental Wellness Society. And we spoke with him and said, hey, the society is helping all our members. So, and I am welcoming Dr. Sherry Kelly, who is in charge of the groups in the Mental Wellness Society of Education and Parenting, and is also involved in spearheading the activity for helping Ukraine, our task force. So the Mental Wellness Society is in 72 countries. We have specialists of many different fields, but we have 4 groups: education, health and wellness, agent of change for corporation, and psychologists, coach, and all type of intervention to help people. And Ukraine Task Force is at the crossroad of all those activities, as we have an Ukraine Task Force that is coordinated in Ukraine by Viktor. So with further ado, I will ask Viktor to give us some news, the latest news from Ukraine, Viktor.
Yeah, kindly thanks for continue of this your initiative regarding mental health statement, mental health condition here in Ukraine, and regarding
You froze.
News. We have in this news, we have sustainable situation, sustainable terrible. Yeah, it's not sustainable calm, but like sustainable terrible. I would like to say that we already try to adopt to this situation with war, try to adopt with the situation of attacks, of explosions, and we would like to continue our life and our job. I can rephrase the famous phrase that show must go on, life must go on. It means that personal life must go on. My professional life must go on. My family life must go on. So we continue to adopt how to live with this situation and how to continue our professional line, our family line, etc. And at the same time, I would like to call this situation right now, this stage here in Ukraine, like stage where we don't know what our step is right and what step is wrong. In many reasons. One of this reason is in the direct meaning. What I mean is that we have many minds everywhere in the field of Ukraine. That's why you don't know, is your step right now correct? Will you continue to live, or this will be mine and you will be killed. You don't know this situation. It is on one side, and on other side, of course, we don't know what we should to do, because our traditional business is destroyed, our traditional work is destroyed. So we should to change not only our values, but also change approach to the life, approach to the professional, approach to the career. Yeah. So sometimes, yeah, firstly, it was like inspiration. I would like to be volunteer. I would like to help people, but after 2 months, I should to think yes. But at the same time, I have obligations regarding family, regarding my career, regarding my institution. So I should to continue deal and with these affairs. That's why I don't know what my step. I should to leave volunteer activities, and my work should receive most deal of my attention, of my activities, or of what I should to do. I don't know. It is, and also on other side. For example, on Thursday, I was in Kyiv, and I was exactly near that building. In 3 hours, this building was attacked by Russians. 3 hours, only 3 hours. That's why we should to adopt with this situation. We should to continue live, continue deal with our professional, with other our activities, and we should to keep in our mind that we don't know what should be happen in half an hour, in 1 hour, in 2 hours. So it's like Israel's situation, when you also don't know what will be happened later on. Yeah. So
But you get used to it. But you get used to it. The good news
yeah,
is it's tough at the beginning, but you learn to live with it. And what is important, as you say, it's the war continue, and the fact the war continue, you continue too.
yeah, and firstly, we have huge estimations, huge expectations that, of course, in 2 weeks this war will be stopped. In a month, this week will be stopped. But now we should to adopt with the idea that it will be continue months, maybe even
Nobody
years. We
knows.
don't know.
Nobody knows.
Nobody
It's
knows.
really what you can say in the hand of God.
Yeah, it is in the hands of God, and at the same time we have many. Yeah, we should to believe in God, but at the same time we have many information regarding church, regarding other activities. So it's not correct. It's not a good thing to improve our beliefs as resource in basic PH model. Beliefs could be resource, but we couldn't improve this resource in ourselves, in our mind, because we have many information regarding not good information.
Understood.
Something which help, despite the situation, is to try to prevent any type of doubt, but to
Yeah.
concentrate on choice. One choice at the time, but the fact you have choice, remain healthy, because when you feel you don't have choice is when you get totally depressed and you get burnout and you get in trauma. The way to prevent trauma is to have choice. And you made a long list. Should I do this or should I do that? Should I do this or should I do that? Well, you are showing me that you have many possible choice. And it's already a luxury, because you have many people in that situation who don't have the choice.
Yeah, exactly. And I again can thank you for your mindful approach, mindfulness approach, because really we should to think hic et nunc in Latin, here and now.
And you need to look at the positive. The negative is all around you. Of course, it's a war. What else to expect? It's a war with a not friendly people who are the Russian army. But you are surviving, and your job is to be a survivor. And obviously, all war stops one day. And your job is to be a survivor, and you need to work on it day by day, hour by hour. And that's your job. And your job is, like the guy who goes to the casino. The game is not to lose everything or to gain everything in a few minutes, but to be able to enjoy a long time in the casino. So you play it slowly. And that's what you need to do. But you need to concentrate on the positive. When you were in Lviv, you were not with your wife. You are back to your home. You are
Yeah.
back to your home. You are back to your wife. You start to speak about continuing your professional life, continuing your society activities. Well, I look at a very active and busy person in front of me, and I think that's good and that's healthy. From my relation with you,
Yeah.
I understand all what you say, but I also see that you feel better than before because you get used to the survival mode. That situation was frightening at the beginning. It is what it is, but you are doing the best of it at this moment. And you look better. You have a better look to me.
Yeah, absolutely. And I would like to underline that really you exactly right. And I think the sign and credo of today's our life could be the smart people are ahead of me and God is behind of me.
Got it.
Yeah.
Good. A
And,
very good. A very good
good. Very
combination.
good.
Yeah,
A very good
it's
combination.
very symbolic. It's very symbolic. It's very symbolic.
Understood. Understood.
Okay, so I will keep up our viewers of what are all the activities that have been taken place. Number one, we have in the task force, only for Ukraine task force, close to 200 members who join. And the members are very much interested to know what can we do to help. So we are sending a questionnaire to propose them different things that can help. Maybe program, maybe helping one-on-one, maybe professional teaching. But we are sending next week a questionnaire to the members to know what they would like to be involved or how much time they can give us, what they can do. So because we need to know how they would like to be involved, on what they would like to be involved, on what they would like to take place. So that's one activity but the task force is doing well. And if anybody wants to join the task force, you go to www.mentalwellnesssociety.com, and we have there a library in Ukrainian and in English, where you have a lot of documents about trauma, a lot of resource. You have resource again also about video we made in Ukrainian and in English, how to move your head, how to not get stressed. So that's a very important activity that we have. We also have a cooperation with Israel Trauma Coalition. They have been in Israel for over 45 years, and they work with every community for preparedness to resilience to trauma. At the level of the communities, learning, as exactly like Viktor says, learning to live in situation of terrorism on bombs. Because what have to continue is life. What you focus is on life. Because what is the strongest is life. Because life will continue anyway. So they are giving us a lot of support. They have been also helping to train Viktor and some of his colleagues. They are sharing with us different guidelines, and we have been using that, for example, for training volunteers from America who are Ukrainian from origin, but they live in America. And we have 1,500 of those Ukrainian American in Lincoln, Nebraska. And Dr. Donkin have been training some of them, and some of them are getting to Poland, to camps, to help the refugees in the camps. And as we speak, they are traveling to Poland, but they have been trained with getting some information with guidelines on how not to enter in TVE. And we are trying to help them to get the best experience they can and to prevent, if possible, that it becomes too traumatic and emotionally charged for them. We also have a cooperation in Ukraine with the National Psychology Association, thanks to intervention of Viktor. It's 1,500 psychologists, and we are cooperating with them. We are signing a memorandum of understanding, and we are cooperating with them. We also have got different training, so I will let Sherry explain the training that she has been doing. Dr. Kelly.
Good morning, Victor. Thank you so much for sharing your experiences and profound insights. I'm so, honored every time I have the opportunity to speak with you, and so humbled by the work you're doing in Ukraine on behalf of so many. Thank you so much. As some of you know, we did a webinar last week with Viktor and also Valeria, who is the president of the National Psychological Association of Ukraine. I continue to do training with a particular focus for mothers and caregivers on the ground in Ukraine. I'm going to be doing another one tomorrow. I don't know if Victor knows that. Not for Mental Wellness Society, but for another organization for parents in Ukraine that's come out of contact at Yale University in the United States. And so some of our work is really collaborative in that people see our website or people visit our videos that are available on LinkedIn or YouTube and learn about our works at the Mental Wellness Society. And so through that collaboration, we're able to reach many more people. So tomorrow's webinar is really targeted to moms and other and parents or caregivers, grandparents in Ukraine. And it's really the focus on how do you survive as a parent with children, and how do you rally yourself to help your kids become more resilient, and what are some basic strategies to prevent burnout as a parent, but also how to help your children cope in this prolonged state of crisis and prevent trauma in children. So, these are really very important evidence-based strategies on crisis management with kids. And that's going to be tomorrow. And I will be sending the link to you, Victor. So that's what's going on right now. And also, I just wanted to let you know about our ongoing collaboration with the American Psychological Association and also the Connecticut Psychological Association, who's been so wonderful. I'm a member of the Connecticut Psychological Association as the co-chair of the Child and Family Committee. And we have a number of our members who are involved at the national and international level with American Psychological Association. So we're going to collaborate together on more training and having resources available to our Mental Wellness Society members and the general public through the Mental Wellness Society website that Dr. Meyer mentioned. So a lot of it is an attempt to bring together resources in a library of materials and videos to help people not only in Ukraine, but those working with people in Ukraine. And it's a wonderful training opportunity for psychologists, social workers, caregivers all over the world. So we have a number of people, as Gerard said, who want to volunteer, who want to help. And as a consequence of our training programs and videos, we've been able to bring together even more psychologists who want to help. Victor, do you have any questions for me?
No, I haven't questions, but I would like only to add something. That after your webinar, we received National Psychological Association of Ukraine received many responses, many emails. So it was so your efforts was not done. It was allow our experience and our possibilities to progress. So kindly thanks for this.
Oh, you're very welcome.
You're talking about the event we have jointly with the American Psychology Society last week.
With the Connecticut Psychological
And
Association.
I will also add that several of those members are interested to cooperate in the Mental Wellness Society Task Force. And some of them have proposed to teach some programs which relates to that type of situation. One of them wants to do it in Ukrainian and in English. The other one will be in English. But we are talking with Sherry to organize, there is at least 5 or 6 of them who wants to be part of the faculty on the Mental Wellness Society. So on Mindful Choice Academy. So that will be program available, and it will be something we can continue to do for anybody who wants to get some training, parents, educator, or professionals. So that's something we are organizing. Okay, Victor, tell us a little bit about our coming project in cooperation with National Psychology Association. The list of things we are planning to do.
So we have several initiatives which we are going to start with National Psychological Association. First, it is this Bridging Hearts. So it's in order to connect Ukrainians abroad in USA, in Lincoln, and Ukrainians in Ukraine. It's also to provide emotional support for each other, and it is a very good initiative. Second initiative, it is regarding cooperation with app that Mental Wellness Society signed agreement with Skanku, and we are on the further of testing this app, how to adopt with Ukrainian realities. And also we're gonna organize some projects on teaching education for professionals, for Ukrainian professionals. So briefly, it is.
Also, which is, I think, an important element, we started to talk about some specialty which is starting to be developed in Ukraine, which is specific help for the trauma of children and the woman, because there is women are definitely young women are definitely a population at risk, and there is a lot of problems. There is problem of traffic, there is problem of influence, there is problem of a lot of problems. And the NPA, particularly Dr. Valeria, is very specialized in helping women. And I've been speaking with a journalist, actually, which was provided by the Sherry Elle magazine in New York. And they are talking about making an article about the woman specific problems, the woman abuse, that's the term. So that is something where a few months ago, we will not speak about that because that was not the priority for many people. But now it becomes such a quantity on life continue despite the war that this is one of the things which needs to be addressed. So I think that subject is an important subject because we have many people from the experience we gain in Ukraine. We start to see that many people, even in America, could be interested to learn from specialists like Valeria, Dr. Valeria, for their own community. And we start to see now an interest to import, not to help what's going to Ukraine, but now to take from Ukraine something we can use in America. And that is very interesting because now it's a two-way street. And what we were doing by goodwill is goodwill on both sides. So the Mindful Choice Academy will be involved in helping to go on those initiatives on both sides. I think Dr. Lebovits wants to have some question to ask you at this point.
Thank you, Gerard. Viktor, the last time we spoke, you were describing some of the work you were doing in the refugee camps, some of the work that you were doing with survivors in shelters and the like. What would you say, can you share with us from a clinical standpoint, what would you say are the programs that you see, the activities that you see that are having the most value for the people you work with?
Okay, the most value and the result of our activities, it is first psychological aid. Because I have experience in working in the terminal when I was meeting the people from who came from the evacuation trains, and the main result is when their faces are getting warm, when their eyes is getting delighting. Yeah, so it is the main results of this work. The smile on the face of children, it is the results of our work. And at the same time, it is personally, but also we have some impact on also in the level of community, because if we meet people and when we solve their acute stress reaction or acute stress disorder, in this case, the community will receive healthier people, healthier person. So it is good benefit for them. And after this, we have that this person who received professional first psychological aid or on the terminal, they will be our helpers to reduce stigma in our society, because they can help. No, I had communication with psychologists and they really helped me. So it is really work. That's why I suggest you also can go to the psychologist and communicate with them. So really we have some reducing of stigma in our society. So it is the best results of this.
That's really fascinating. What I'm hearing you say is that you actually are having an impact on the culture as a result of the crisis, that the methods that are being used to deal with, to achieve resilience, to deal with the crisis, are actually going to reduce the reluctance of people to get help. They're going to be more willing to get help because they've been able to see that it actually is valuable and beneficial to them. That's amazing. That's really very amazing.
And I would like to add that Israel Trauma Coalition also organized training for helpers. not only
Yes.
for professional, but for helpers. It is very, very good impact for Ukrainian society, because who are these helpers? Cosmetologists, some cleaners, of course, psychologists, but not only them. Many other professionals who are in strong communication with other people. Their work is negotiation with people. That's why they will be like our responders for other people. They will provide this psychological literacy for Ukrainian society.
Yes. Dr. Meyer was mentioning the group that's coming from Lincoln, Nebraska. That's one group that's coming to Poland, to the refugee camps. And we're working with them also exactly the way you're describing. They're ordinary people from all walks of life who have volunteered to help in all sorts of ways. And they're getting some basic understanding, some basic training, so that they can be helpers. They can be helpers psychologically, in addition to the various activities they're going to be doing. And I think that's a resource that really can be promoted and developed even more. Lots of people can help. Lots of people. Ordinary people can help.
If I may, Victor, I will ask you something else. You have received different booklets from us. One of them is Feel Cared for first responders, to avoid to enter in tunnel vision effect and to focus on the problem instead of to focus on the solution instead of the problem, to prevent that type of reaction. You have received video, you have received books, you have received training. But personally, I have seen that even though you are a professional, highly trained, with good diplomas, and you are taking care of people, but for yourself, we need to tell you, Victor, remember, you need to move your head, you need to drink, you need to focus on the positive. And this is something which really have been interesting to me. Because despite all the training, despite all the books, despite all what we can say and you can learn and that you know, when you come in that situation of stress, you forget about it because you enter in flight, fight, freeze. You forget about it, you focus on the problem, and you need someone else to tell you, hey, Victor, don't look there, look there. Victor, take few minutes to breathe. Victor, there is still some rose which can smell rose. We need to remind you that. And I don't know how to explain it, but I think that's why we came up with the idea help one-on-one. But it's not just to talk, it's just to remind you the basic, I would say, drill to prevent to enter in TV. This is a drill we need to remind every day. And that's why you need somebody, professional or not professional, but you need somebody to remind you that. And I don't know, when two people are married, if one can help each other to be the coach of the other one, to remind him, do this, do this, do that. I don't know. We need to make a checklist, maybe. Checklist will be useful. But I see that, in my opinion, a very, very instrumental, critical, leverage tool is a checklist with remember to do this at least every 1 hour, 2 hours, once a day. I think we might need to publish a list of the to-do list. And what do you think? Sherry, you want to speak?
I love the idea of the checklist. I do that with kids. I explain to children, even the most experienced pilots, fighter pilots, commercial pilots have a checklist. It's a pre-flight checklist, and they do this every day. And we need that too as psychologists, so that we can help others. One of the things that, I can share with you that Victor and I have talked about through our relationship over the past 2 months is really, Seligman's three pillars of resilience, which I think has really helped, which is having agency, developing agency and self-efficacy, which, Viktor has done with Mental Wellness Society. We've done that by, offering platforms upon which Viktor can teach and make networks around the world with other experts for support and for training in his efforts, and also emotional support for him. But, networking and being validated by other professionals, being supported by other professionals is one way to also get agency, and to obviously to do something meaningful, to make meaning of this, and to create meaning of this yourself. And then the other tenet, the second one, is optimism, which is what we talk a lot about here, which Dr. Meyer has been sharing with you, and which we talk about in our work with people in Ukraine, is to focus on the solutions, to be optimistic, to focus on the positive, to practice gratitude when you can, which are all key elements of survival. And then the last and third thing is having imagination and being creative, which you are, Viktor, is having the imagination and creativity to develop programming, to solve problems and find solutions in new ways, to attract people to come to you and to get help. So the creativity and imagination piece is the third part of resiliency. So I really believe that in our work together, in our cooperation with Viktor, our cooperation through Mental Wellness Society, also with the ITC, and our global family of practitioners and volunteers, we're really trying to build resilience in Ukraine individually and also as a community.
As an attitude.
Yes.
As an attitude.
Yes,
because
that too.
it's really a development of an attitude a positive attitude of resilience.
Viktor, when I was talking to the leader of the group that's coming from Nebraska, from Lincoln to Poland, I made a suggestion, and I wonder if you might find the suggestion worthwhile for some of the people you work with. I suggested that all the volunteers keep a journal of their experience, that they write every night about something that's memorable for while they were there, that they would have a real-time remembrance of the experience, and that could help them later even assimilate the experience. And I wonder if you think that would be helpful for the helpers, for some of the people that you work with as well.
Absolutely, and these stories, this personal stories, personal experience will be more trustable for society.
Yes,
they
exactly.
will be believe in this when somebody will will disclose their own emotions, own mind on the paper. So it will be very, very good.
And it will be done day by day with a fresh memory, not recalling something happening before, because memory fades, but it will really be something which is a trustable testimonial, and a testimonial which will also give the emotion on day by day. So it helps people, and it will be very useful when that ordeal will be finished, to look at different, I will say, golden nugget of some situation and some thought, because humans are resourceful. What humans have is to be resourceful, to find a way to adapt and survive. And I think we will see that through those texts the people write. I think it's a very good idea from Dr. Lebovits. Is there any question from the attendant that anybody wants to ask? That's really, if you have a question, we'll be happy, one of us, to answer.
While we're waiting for people to type, I want to ask you, Viktor, about something you mentioned to me last week. Tell me about the orphan situation and what we're doing for kids, what you're doing for kids, what you've noticed.
Oh, yeah, it's very heartbreaking information, because many children suddenly, in very short period, they lost their parents, and now they are in the building for orphans. They are not. They isn't able to adopt yet. So it's huge challenge for them. Really, it's heartbreaking situation here in Ukraine, and I know that many people are already in the western of Ukraine in the special houses for these orphans. And I had communication last week with some organization who works with them, and I want to continue my volunteer shifts with them exactly in the houses for orphans, and not only for in one. My shift will be in the house for orphans, and other in the in secondary school. In secondary school, where they try to adopt, to socially integrate this orphan, reintegrate the orphans again to here. So I hope that I will be work with them. I will collaborate with them. Now we are in the negotiation process regarding this. And so I hope to continue my volunteer shift with them, and especially in this area.
If by any chance, at one point, the children will come for adoption in other countries, it will be very important to make sure that there is a high standard of care of the children, because there is a lot of children which have been adopted from Russia, and many of them have been not too well. It was not too such a great place to be hosting children, and many of them have been mentally damaged for life and cannot accept love in the new family. And there is a lot of dramatic situation with, in America, people who adopted Russian kids, which end up to have a lot of problems. And there have been a lot of litigation with Russia about that subject. So I think it's very important to speak with the authority to make sure that there is a high standard of care for the children and love, not just giving them food, but giving them love, because the children can be marked for life. And we have seen that you take the children orphan from Russia, you put them in America in amazingly devoted family, does not work, because the children traumatized to such a point they don't adjust to a loving family. That's something to look at too, I think.
Yeah.
Agree?
Absolutely agree. And right now, some idea down on me. So if we take one of the orphans' house and organize patronage for them and for their staff, and if we try to integrate the best standards for their work, I think we will receive approval for this from our ministry. So maybe it also could be a good
Dr.
idea.
Kelly might be able to help us there. Dr. Kelly, I have an idea.
Yes.
Your daughter is involved teen to teen.
Yes.
If you have orphan who speaks English, it's not all of them, but at least the one who speaks English. Dr. Kelly's daughter have an organization called Teen to Teen. And they are teen in America, which could be helping teen in Ukraine, and which could be orphan teen. And I think that could be something very good. Maybe we need to talk about how to implement that idea. Dr. Kelly.
Yes. And my daughter and I were also co-founders of an organization called Positive Teens, which provides resources for mental wellness to teens all over the world, and webinars for self-care and coping for teens all over the world. So we are happy to do a webinar together for teenagers in Ukraine, and just let us know when you want to do that. And there's, other organizations, schools that are very interested in helping for the teenagers over there as well. If teenagers are coming to America, there are schools here that I can connect you with.
It's an interesting paradox, Victor, because on the one hand, what we have been saying all along is that the focus needs to be on the here and now, which it does. We have to survive. Just as Gerard was saying, survival is the number one priority. But we all can see what's coming around the corner. We can all see all the various social and educational and societal breakdowns that are around the corner. And there is a need to at least have, we can't prepare, but at least have an idea of some things that perhaps some resources that could be brought for those eventualities that are coming, because they are coming. We know what's here, but we also know what's coming.
I think we are coming close to closing remarks. So I will ask Dr. Lebovits, Dr. Kelly, Dr. Vos, their closing remarks. My own closing remarks is it was, as always, very interesting, very uplifting, very nice to be with all of you. But I think, like always, we come up with an idea that we have ready to work on, implement for the next time we meet. So for everybody, please stay tuned. And every 2 weeks, we will be proposing you a new program. Dr. Lebovits.
Thank you, Victor. I wish you and your family and all the people that you work with to remain healthy and to stay well and protected and safe. And you have the support. That psychological, that mental and emotional support that you pointed out is so valuable. You have it from us. And we are trying to provide more and more of it from all the sources that we could muster. And hopefully this war will be over sooner rather than later, and we can have the normal life that you were describing.
Dr. Kelly.
Thank you, Victor. I second what Dr. Lebovits had just said. And I want to thank you for being our eyes and ears on the ground in Ukraine, and giving us an honest assessment of what your world is like, what you're observing over there, so that we can really target our services and our efforts to what's really needed right now. And I want to also say how very appreciative we are to have the honor of working with you and having this cooperation with you and your colleagues in Ukraine. I keep telling you this, Victor, but as bad as things are, I always think of this one positive thought, how this war has brought together so many wonderful, giving, caring, smart people from around the world together. You've
Victor,
given us, your blessing in many ways, Victor. Thank you.
Victor, you will be closing tonight.
Yeah, I highly appreciate all of your efforts you have done for Ukrainians and for refugees and for people who need this. And I would like to say that your efforts are tangible. You have 200 task force members. You and Dr. Shirley and Dr. Lebovits conducted webinars and seminars, live stream. You announce this information. We organize trainings and other activities. So really, it's tangible results, and we can touch this, we can feel this, and I hope that it is good start for next steps. So kindly thanks for all your efforts, time, and experience to sharing with Ukrainians.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you for all our viewers. And thank you, all of you, to be so involved and loving in the team. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Shalom.
Thanks,